When From Software releases a new title, it is either in contention for Game of the Year or is Game of the Year. But what about Elden Ring Nightreign, a 3-day cycle in Limweld will greet us all, where we'll be fighting with various enemies randomly chosen within the span of 45 minutes in an ever-changing map. If you die as a solo player, I'm assuming no one will help you get back on your feet. You will have to restart the cycle all over again, like in Returnal, another roguelike AAA game made by Sony. Now, sure, you will be motivated for the first few times, but what about the 50th death? Won't you feel this sense of dread kicking in, slowly but surely the cycle weighing on you? No longer wanting to fight another nameless king or mesmer, even if they're amazing, you will quickly drift to other games. And even if you're playing co-op with 2 of your friends, you can't always rely on them. Different time zones or differing interests over time. And if you choose to go online to find people, the lag will get in the way as usual and make it harder to play precisely when your inputs rely on a finicky internet connection. So the million-dollar question is, how can we play this almost certainly $40 game and enjoy it for a very, very long time? Before we get to my thoughts on Nightreign as a challenge runner, I need to explain how I approach Elden Ring's combat to begin with. Aggression, creativity, varied punish windows, and most importantly, consistent posture breaks. No challenge runner, even the famous Ongball, plays the exact same way. As challenge runners, we all value different things, and it shows in our gameplay. You can take a bit of a safer approach with no hits, but also no creativity. Or you can take a different approach where no hits is still valued, like in an Ongball run, but creativity, different punish windows, and posture breaking is still at the forefront. Everyone has their own tastes and preferences. And if we're gonna pay $40 for Nightreign, primarily a boss rush survival roguelite Souls game, that's not a small thing. It's a lot of money that Miyazaki is asking for here. So enjoying the gameplay, the bosses to their full potential, is a must, whether you play solo or co-op. Now, the footage you've been watching is my blind Shadow of the Erdtree playthrough. Each boss takes about 6 to 7 hours of practice for me to play it on this level. And Rellana has been, and still is, one of my favorite duels in Shadow of the Erdtree. But in order to understand how I got here, let me show you a sneak peek of my suffering. Okay, this is that Rellana person we've seen its cameo before. Easy there, wow. Holy sh... Wait, what is that?
Oh shit, here we go again.
One, two, three, four.
One of the first things to keep in mind is to find a rhythm that works for you, in terms of pacing and aggression. You don't want to be too slow, but also not recklessly attack. Since Nightreign is going to reuse a lot of the bosses, and you know the patterns of at least a good number of these Elden Ring bosses or Souls Trilogy bosses, I think it's a good idea to experiment with how your class works with the new punish windows. Try to find them, try to experiment. Jumping attacks and charged R2s will give you the highest posture damage, helping you to get the bosses on their knees. It will give you this micro win of dopamine, which is perfect because the speedrunner mindset of Nightreign has been confirmed by various people who played the game already. You only got about 45 minutes per run in Nightreign. The developers don't want you to stay in one location for too long. You gotta pick up the pace. Level up, get new loot. You need to be quick on your feet and do the best with the weapons and armors you have, while the circle encloses on you like Fortnite. I don't think you have the luxury to just pick your favorite weapon each time and spam the same attacks over and over and expect this game to last you for a very long time. You will get bored. Neither can you overanalyze a boss for too long, as you only got 45 minutes. Now with Elden Ring, there comes a new posture breaking system similar to Sekiro. The developers reward you for your aggression. If you can find these weaknesses, if you find these punish windows, you will be rewarded with a big attack. Studying the pattern, experimenting, being creative, keeping up the pressure, not always rolling backwards, but into the enemy as well. Maybe doing a quick roll attack and changing your position and direction, circling the boss to stay close. There are many techniques out there that challenge runners like Ongball uses. Pick whatever you want. Find your style and give it a whirl. See, playing like a challenge runner is not exclusive to certain people. If you put in the time, if you practice, if you approach the battles with an open mind, you can also do it. And mark my words, if you do not break free of your own playing style, irrespective of your build, these 8 characters in the game won't keep you engaged for a very long time. You will eventually get bored. Wilder is one that switches between a great sword small shield combo with a crossbow, can also act as a grappling hook that can either be used to pull enemies towards him or pull himself towards things to get behind foes. The all-rounder class with a decent mix of everything. Duchess, speedy glass cannon rogue type character, wields a dagger as a weapon, with a Bloodborne style quickstep, with the skill of inflicting the last attack of an ally once again. Now I think this has the potential to be really OP if not balanced well with the right cooldowns. Then we got Guardian. The heavy-hitting Falcon tank has wind-based moves such as Dive Bomb or Tornado that can disrupt enemies. Recluse, a mage who doesn't appear to be in the trailers, only the screenshot. Likely a standard long-ranged spell user. Can put a marker on bosses to drain HP, and she can inflict them with various debuffs. Sniper, a long-ranged archer similar to the one in Dragon's Dogma 2. It also looks like he can use Mighty Shot. We don't know the exact name, but the warrior, a guy with a great axe, probably the Unga Bunga, pure strength class, has a move where he shoves a dagger into the earth to create an explosion, possibly leading to a jumping attack. A slow but heavy-hitting berserker type glass cannon. Duelist, a Sekiro-style deflector, likely has guard counters as well with special holy effects. Getting consecutive parries can make the guard counter stronger as a mechanic, for instance. Likely a lot more agile than a Guardian, but more high risk and high reward considering the deflections. Meaning if you can time your parries right, you can deal a lot more damage than the Guardian. And the final 8th class is the Summoner. The only one not shown anywhere, but we are told that they could be a Summoner type healer-esque class where you summon spirits to fight for you while you're giving instructions like healing or buffing simultaneously. At least that idea makes sense to me. So the repetitive nature of a roguelite can actually get to you, making you question why you spent the same amount of money on Nightreign as you did with Shadow of the Earth Tree. After all, in that DLC we got new bosses with new story, a new map to explore, new enemies, learning about the lore with Mikola, Mesmer, Meteor, and Marika. While the lore of Nightreign will be mostly self-contained, all of these 8 classes we just talked about will have their own separate stories. But don't expect the lore to last you for months on end. While the map will be shuffled randomly, it will mostly be Limgrave rehashed with swamps and lava dungeons sprinkled as you progress. The exploration will also lose its charm too, leaving you with nothing but the gameplay, the bosses, the combat, even the fighting, the familiar faces like...
Is that the fucking Nameless King? No!
I am very excited to see how the Dark Souls trilogy bosses will be scaled to Elden Ring's aggression, as they can't just copy-paste them. They'll need to add completely new attacks maybe, adjust the pacing of them, shake up the damage and defenses to make sure each of them feels right at home. Maybe even on par with the all-time greats like Morgott, Crucible Knight, Mesmer, and Rellana. Especially Dark Souls 1 and 2 are very slow games, almost turn-based. There is no way that Junichi Ishizaki, the new director of Nightreign, can insert that same moveset into Elden Ring and expect it to work. As a combat designer himself, he knows how critical engagement is, and these hard-to-decipher 12-hit combos of bosses looking at you, Morgott, where you try to find punish windows in between the attacks, is basically the key to aggression in Elden Ring's design philosophy. But before taking on the Nameless King, just be careful. Make sure that you don't get afflicted with frenzy like he did.
Holy shit, bro! What am I looking at? My eyes!
Band together and prepare to claim. The life of the Night Lord.